Welcome to Mr. Slayton's Manifest Destiny Hit 'em Up and Move 'em Out video. So hopefully right now you're at home watching this video and I'm taking a sip of water. Delicious. And what you should be doing is taking some notes, probably either given to you or uploaded on the Google page that you will be using to fill this in. Now, if I begin to talk too quickly, simply just pause the video and write in what you need to. But make sure that you get the whole entire presentation, especially my gorgeous voice. All right, so what kinds of people end up heading out west? Okay, so and what was some of their motivation? Probably the major motivation for a lot of people is going to be to get wealthier. Okay, the other thing that's going to happen is that you're going to have land speculators, and land speculators, what they're going to do is buy up large swaths of land. Okay, and then what they'll do is they'll take those pieces of land and break them down as individual units. Who to mostly? Mostly to probably farmers, okay? So, and people, of course, are going to be settling on this land, and that's a picture of my uncle. Okay, so, manufacturing and merchants are going to follow the settlers, right? So if you've got human beings in human movement, they're going to need supplies, right? Especially when we get to the 49ers, when we talk about them, okay? Other people are going to be moving west to find jobs to fill, and of course escape owing people money. So one of the things you got to think about, and even as we talk about in early American history, is what kind of people are going to be attracted to move west. And sometimes the motives aren't always going to be so pure. So a lot of times what you have is you have people moving this way, and the reason why they're moving this way is because they're running from trouble or they're running from the law. And also think of the kind of characteristics that human beings are going to want to take a trip like this, right? So is it going to be like really, really old people? Is it going to be, sick people? Probably not so much. Same kind of people that will probably be coming here in early America as colonists from Europe. Or even maybe the same kind of people that are even in the space program, right? They're not going to put like 100-year-old people up on a ship and send them up into the sky, nor are they going to get people who are really sickly involved. Okay, so it's the same kind of person. And think about the personality types too. Risk takers, people who are adventurous, right? Because you could get out here and you don't know what's going to happen, right? So people are going to come in contact with things that they've never come in contact with before, and so they're going to need to be prepared. Not for the feeble at heart. That's a video we're not going to watch. So we're talking about the Santa Fe Trail, okay? And if you look up here, I'm trying to find the Santa Fe Trail. Where are you, Santa Fe Trail? Are you on here, Santa Fe Trail? Ah, here's the Santa Fe Trail. If you look right here, it starts out in Independence, Missouri, and it heads out right here. It goes down to Santa Fe. Santa Fe, of course, right here, just west of Texas. Okay, Santa Fe. After Texas wins this independence from Spain, it's going to open as a borders to American traders. Trader William Becknell established the Santa Fe Trail to New Mexico. He made a large profit because New Mexicans were eager for new merchandise. I wonder what kind of things they would want. What would someone need on the Santa Fe Trail, or when they got to Santa Fe, that would require merchandising back then? I wish it was like Blue's Clues where I could just like pause. You'd be like, that's a great idea. You're smart. Maybe I should just do that anyway. So here's another picture of the Santa Fe Trail, even though we had this beautiful, gorgeous map that you see in class every day. All right. So the Oregon Trail, right? It runs from Independence, Missouri to the Oregon Territory. So if you look right here, we've got Independence, Missouri, and we've got the Oregon Trail right here, this purple trail, that goes all the way up to current day Oregon, Portland. The first whites to make the trip were missionaries, who of course sent back reports of Oregon's rich land. You start getting the same stories about far out west that you did in Europe in the beginning of the colonization period, right? About, gardens that grow really huge, and just you can pick gold up out with your hand, and all other kind of phenomena that are absolutely untrue. But people are drawn to these areas because they hear these outlandish stories and they believe them. Okay? In 1843, nearly 1,000 people traveled from Missouri to Oregon. And the next year, twice as many went. So I guess some of the stories must have been good. Okay, and so here's the Oregon Trail right through there. Okay, the Mormon Trail. All right, Mormons are members of the Church of the Latter-day Saints. Joseph Smith is their founder. Okay, and Mormons practice polygamy. Okay, so I'll probably talk a little bit more about this in class if you have any questions, for obvious reasons. But polygamy is when you have more than one wife. But let me explain something to you. It is absolutely against the law, as far as the religion is concerned, to have more than one wife. So the Church of Latter-day Saints has outlawed being able to have more than one wife. It is out of practice. It is no longer allowed. If someone claims to have more than one wife, they are not allowed to be in the main church, the established church of the Latter-day Saints. Just so you know. Really thirsty today. Forgive me. So, there's a lot of Mormons deal with a lot of anti-Mormonism, I guess you could say, and they actually, some of them even get martyred. Brigham Young, Joseph Smith will die. Brigham Young is the next Mormon leader, and yes, this is connected to Brigham Young University, or BYU, that a lot of you sports fans follow, and he's going to help move the people to Utah. Now remember, at this time, Utah is a part of Mexico. So the Mormons are actually leaving the United States to get away from the people that are hurting them, right? Mormons are being killed. They're being ran out of towns. So they're trying to leave the United States and go to Salt Lake City. They go there with approval from Mexico. So Mexico says they can go there. But we know what ends up happening. And Utah will actually end up becoming part of the United States. So they're going to build their settlement in the Great Salt Lake. Salt Lake, Utah still exists today. You can go there and enjoy the skiing or something. I don't know. Mormons work together to build dams and canals, right? We've talked about canals in class, and we haven't talked so much about dams. But remember, canals are part of the American system underneath Henry Clay. It's to better emphasize our infrastructure. Okay? So John O'Sullivan, he's the first guy to ever use the word manifest destiny, right? Manifest, of course, meaning clear or obvious. And then destiny, meaning events sure to happen. Manifest destiny suggests that westward expansion was not only good, but bound to happen. Right? So you have all these people writing all these papers and these editorials, and there's this spirit in the United States that we are supposed to expand from the east all the way out west, from sea to shining sea. You got it. Boy, you sure are smart. I think I like this kind of Blue's Clues thing where I just, it's okay. And you've already seen this portrait, and you saw this portrait with Mr. Irwin on his YouTube video that he made. But if not, you can refer to it back then, or to what he wrote. So this idea of sea to shining sea, the whole entire idea of spreading American democracy and our way of life, right? Seeing it as a very positive and a good thing. That's how they're seeing this. Okay? And you're going to have people with a different perspective of this, and we have to think about, well, what was the Native American perspective of doing this, and what kind of impact is this going to have on land and things like that. So keep that in mind. But this is the famous portrait that you see a lot of times when it's associated with manifest destiny. The California Gold Rush. Have you ever asked yourself, how did San Francisco get that football name, the 49ers? Well, it wasn't because of lines of latitude. There's an actual reason for it. It has to do with the fact that it's a group of people who run to get gold, and I wonder what year. Oh boy, 1849. Okay, so California, originally populated by Native Americans and Californios, right? Or people of Spanish or Mexican descent. And Mexico fears that American immigration and rarely gives land to foreigners. Okay? So American John Sutter, Sutter's Mills, was granted 50,000 acres. He builds a salt. Whoa! I need to go back. I think I have to visually go. Can you click back once? I'm sorry. Okay. Whoops. He builds a sawmill on the American River, and gold is found there, right? So this is the 49ers, right? Leading to the California gold rush. And if you look at this stamp, it's from this period of time. We see that the guys are panning for gold into the river. Okay? Thank you, Mr. Bueller. Forever remembered on YouTube. Okay. So, the 49ers, we talked about this. This is where your San Francisco 49ers come from. They start rushing there in 1849. Okay? Because the adventure was so difficult, mostly gold seekers were young men, right? So they're probably going to be living in makeshift tents. Life isn't going to be easy. As people rush to a new area to look for gold, they build new communities called boom towns. So these towns that just build up overnight, right, to be finding gold. Now you have to ask yourself, at the point in time that a large group of people end up there, how much of the gold is already gone? And secondly, who ends up making most of the money out of this deal? Now, if I was a betting man, I would probably much prefer to be selling tools during this period of time to people who had aspirations for finding gold than be searching for the gold itself. So probably providing services is where you make more money. The other thing is that a lot of people don't know, this is where Levi's and Strauss come from, right? So the gold miners, if you remember from the previous picture, are on their knees a lot of the times with the gold and they're swishing it around. Okay? They can't use just wear khakis like I have on. They have to have rough and tough pants. Their tents were made out of a tough canvas. So what Levi's and Strauss did is they took the tents and they cut them into jeans. And that's what we still have today. That is why when you look at a pair of blue jeans, and I don't have them on right now, is that right here in the corner there's a rivet right there. And the rivet is supposed to be heavy so that men can put their hands and their tools in there and be able to pull things out so they can use them to work on the gold mine. So, cities are going to flourish during this time. Of course, the famous San Francisco, as I've already spoken of, they get up to 20,000 people. And remember, and this kind of goes back to what I was saying before, a lot of these people who have this idea that they're going to get rich off gold have no experience gold mining whatsoever, so they really have no clue what they're doing. Hopefully there wasn't much dynamite or glycerin involved with this process. But merchants are going to benefit from the gold rush. That would be me. I would rather be a merchant in this situation. And huge migrations are going to cause economic growth. That's going to end up changing California, making it part of what it is today. Okay? And then in 1849, California is going to have enough people to apply for statehood. This will end up being part of the Compromise of 1850. And I know from what we've already previously studied, you already know who Henry Clay is. And Henry Clay is going to have a process in helping California come in as a state, right? And since it's a compromise, we know Clay's involved. And as we say in class, Clay helps hold things together, right? Am I talking too fast? Okay. California would skip that territorial stage, and of course it's going to be admitted in as a free state, so they are not going to have any slavery there. Right? And remember, we talked about the Missouri Compromise. People are really worried about upsetting the balance of power between free states to slave states so that no one gets a super majority or a bigger majority in the legislative branch, trying to keep everything equal for them so one group of people doesn't feel that they are being overtaken by another group. I believe regionalism. Okay, the state of California made free states outnumber slave states, and Southerners feared that Northerners might use their majority to abolish slavery. At this point in time, I'm going to stop this video because it's almost 15 minutes long, and it's probably a little too long, or maybe not. You decide. This video is disabled. Don't make any comments. I'm watching you, kid. Thank you.